You will never realize your greatest potential unless you activate a beast mode mindset. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Leaders Realm podcast. I'm your host, Tony Cammarata. Here in the Leaders Realm, we're focused on activating a beast mode mindset. In last week's episode, we discussed what a beast mode mindset is and what's needed in order to activate it. We also discussed that there's 7 characteristics. They are intense focus, unwavering determination, exceptional work ethic, mental toughness, physical strength and stamina, a competitive spirit, and resilience. Now, as promised, today I want to take a deep dive into intense focus, how to unleash that inner strength that we need to achieve it, and how to become more deliberate in all of our actions. So, intense focus is actually the foundation for achieving the goals and maximizing your productivity. It entails directing your energy and attention towards a specific goal. Now, to visualize this, if you look at how a laser operates, it's all of that energy, all of that power behind it, but yet it can just pinpoint precisely in one tiny little spot. And that's what we're trying to unlock here and what we're trying to unleash. So it kind of reminds me of a story. So when I was in my late teens, I was working for a company. Actually, one guy, he owned a shop, and we were doing some work on cars. And he one day comes out and says, "Hey, Tony, come here." He was from New York. So I walked over and said, "Yes, sir." He says, if I could figure out a way to take all that energy you have. You see that building across the street? And I said, "Yes, sir." He says, "If I could just take all of this energy you have and I could focus it like a laser beam, and get you focused." He says, not only would you get into that building, but you'd go right through it, clean the place out the other side. Nobody would even know you were there. And the best part, there'll only be a little tiny hole in that wall. No one would ever know. And I was like, okay, yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. But it wasn't until many years later that I realized what he was trying to say to me. And I've always had a struggle with attention. I've always had a struggle with, just staying focused on tasks. So this does not come naturally to me. And it's something that I have to work at every single day. So when your focus becomes intense, your distractions tend to disappear. It allows you to devote the time and effort necessary towards the specific completion of the task that you're working on. And it gets you closer to achieving your goal. Now, I'm going to cover a little bit more on distractions in a few minutes. But, I'd like for you guys to just really focus in and understand that without intense focus, your productivity suffers. All of your tasks become fragmented. So you feel like, oh, I've got all these balls up in the air and I can't figure out how to bring them down. And, I've got this pulling me this way and this pulling me that way. All that does is causes stress. It causes stress. And it puts us in a situation where we can never achieve the goals at hand for that particular day, month, week, whatever it is. So what basic principles are needed to achieve this intense focus? How can we really zero in on that to get us to the point where we can activate the beast mode mindset? Well, the very first thing we need is clarity of our purpose. We have to clearly define and prioritize in order to direct our focus properly. When we set our goals, it's crucial to be as specific as we possibly can. And what I mean by that is, let's say, hey, I'd love to have a new car. Okay, great. What kind of new car? Oh, I don't know, just a car. Guys, it's not an achievable goal. And the reason being is it's not going to drive you to get focused enough to go after it. So when we set our goals, be specific. What make of car? What model? What level of model? The color, inside and out, wheel style, stereo, anything that you ever wanted in a car. Write it all down. This is our goal. This is how specific it is. Every single detail you can imagine. After we've done this, now it's time to really discover the why. Not just because I want a new car. Your why should be just as important as the air that we breathe. I can't survive unless I obtain this goal. Now, I use car, it was just a general idea that popped into my head for you. It could be health, it could be fitness, it could be your work, it could be excelling at work, your family, leadership, sports. You put the label on it. Your goals are going to be different than my goals, are different than the next guy listening. Another thing we talked about last week was I mentioned that I set micro goals. I have to do this for myself. And the reason it's so important is our natural instinct, our human condition, is somehow, some way, we always manage to set goals that are not achievable within the time frame that we give them. And ultimately, we consider ourselves a failure and end up quitting. Be realistic when setting your goals. Use micro goals so you'll have some wins along the way. Celebrate those wins. A perfect example of what I'm talking about is try to get a workout in at a gym between January 2nd and the end of February. The gyms are packed with people. They've set all these goals that are not achievable. When they look at the time frame they want it in, there's no way they're going to get there. Oh, I want to lose 100 pounds. I want to lose it by, I don't know, next month. It's not going to happen. So guess what? By the end of February, they're back on the couch, complaining and feeling like a complete failure. I know, I was there plenty of times in my life. It wasn't until I began to put these principles in place that I was able to really start celebrating the small victories that lead to the bigger goals. Another example I've used in sales training is, when you walk in, a sales process is no different than putting your shirt on in the morning. You've got all these buttons, you want to button it up. That's the ultimate goal. You would never walk into a prospect, introduce yourself, and say, please just sign here and call it a day. No, that would be ridiculous, right? So we look at the sales process just like we do when we button our shirt. Whether you start at the top or you start at the bottom, you're going to start with one button at a time. And then you go on to the next one, the next one, the next one. And ultimately, guess what? You've succeeded in achieving that particular goal. Next, guys, this is so important, and I can't stress it enough. I could probably spend an hour just talking about this. We've got to start eliminating our distractions. All the noise, the emails, the text messages, the buzzing smartwatches, they all kill our focus. They all kill our productivity. Ding. Ooh, I wonder who just sent me a message. Let's see. Oh, that's pretty funny. Oh, no, I can't make it. Oh, yeah, I'd love to be there. And you open up this conversation and you just keep on going, and something else suffers. One of your tasks that you've been working on. The biggest killer today is social media, in my opinion. It's where we go to get our quick fix of dopamine. And yes, we're all dopamine addicts. So imagine you open up your social media and boom, this video pops up. I don't know, kitty cats, ducks, lions, tigers, bears, oh my, whatever. They're cute, they're funny. Guess what? We get that little rush. Now with the algorithms, they're like, hey, Tony liked that. Let me feed him another one. And then another one. And then another one. And then another one. All along the way, just getting another dose of dopamine, another dose of dopamine. I'm feeling great. I'm getting excited. I'm laughing. Next thing you know, you're down this rabbit hole. And even when we stop, our mind just keeps replaying that last video or the funniest video that we watched over and over and over. And there it goes again. Our focus, our productivity, keeping us farther and farther away from our goals. So how do we get rid of these distractions? So I want to share what someone once told me. I was fortunate enough early in my career to have a lunch meeting with a very successful entrepreneur. And I asked him, I said, what sets you apart? What makes you different than everyone else? Why is it that you're able to have such great success and achieve all the goals that you talked about um, in the time period that you've done it in. So I asked him that question. Here's what he says. He says, Tony, it's actually really simple, but it's not going to be easy. You have got to learn how to compartmentalize your life. Compartmentalize your time. He said, visualize a large chest of drawers. You know, each one of those drawers is going to represent a specific amount of time. Just like at home, you know, we've got dressers and drawers, and you know, one drawer's for t-shirts, another one for socks, underwear, you know, on and on and on. He says you open one drawer, work on those specific tasks and nothing else. That's the key. Nothing else. When you finish with those tasks, close that drawer and open another one. Now, these drawers also include leisure, exercise, eating, sleeping, and so on. Whatever your drawers will be different than mine. So the point here is take all of those distractions and assign a time to access them. And only access at that point. This is how we develop the habit, we develop a routine, and it keeps us focused. This brings me to the next principle, prioritization. When we label the drawers, we have to put them in order of priority. And the same goes for each task that goes into them. So each task leads us to prioritizing the most important goals. Starting to come together yet? I hope so. Guys, this stuff is so powerful. Once you begin to apply these principles, you'll start seeing amazing changes in your life. Your stress levels will go down. Your focus will increase. You'll feel so much better about your time, your day. The next principle ties into the chest of drawers also. Be sure to allot different times throughout the day to rest your mind and take a break. Recharge those inner batteries. Doing so will help with your cognitive stamina, keeps you on task. I mean, get up, stretch, breathe, go for a quick walk. And yeah, maybe a quick laugh or two from some social media feeds. These breaks tie in seamlessly with the next principle, mindfulness. These exercises do amazing things for our brain function. It gives us clarity, wipes out brain fog, relaxes us, which in turn reduces our stress and helps us to increase that productivity. It also helps us with the stamina that we need to get through the day and each task. Meditation is another big one. In fact, I start every day with it. I call my meditation my quiet time. It's a time that I use to spend with my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. I'm strong in my faith, and for very good reasons. And one day I'll share some of those with you. Now, I know that my listeners come from all types of backgrounds and religions, and I am in no means, guys, trying to push my beliefs on you. All I'm doing is sharing with you the things that I do to achieve my own goals in hopes that you will follow and implement what works for you. What or who you believe in is okay. Just believe in something or someone. Implement meditation. It'll make a dramatic difference in your day, in your life. How you feel about yourself, how you feel about others. I do my best to have my quiet time first thing in the morning and at night before I go to sleep. I read some scripture, devotionals, or sometimes I just sit there. I just sit there in the quiet, listen for that voice of reason, guidance. But I will tell you this, on the days that I skip for whatever reason, whether I make an excuse, yes, I make those too, I notice a huge difference in my productivity. It's nowhere near where it normally is. So mindfulness and meditation are a huge part of what's needed to achieve intense focus. Next, guys, set boundaries. Boundaries to protect your focus. Set limits on non-essential communication. Set aside work periods where everything is off. There are times that I set my phone to do not disturb. In fact, right now is one of them. Set that particular boundary. I know people that simply silence their phone. You don't have to put it on do not disturb. Silence their phones, put them in a drawer. It's important, guys. Your goals, your work, all of it. If your why is big enough, we talked about that. If your why is big enough, and one thing I like to say a lot is if the dream is big enough, the facts don't count. Just get it done. Now, the last principle I want to spend a little bit of time on is review and adjust. Not everything works exactly the same for everyone. Adjust accordingly. Just don't abandon the principles. Review the strategies that you put into place. From time to time, take a look at them. Hey, are they working? If not, just adjust them a little bit. Review your goals and the time limits that you've placed on them. Again, sometimes we think we can achieve something in a certain amount of time and we just can't get there. So adjust the timeline. It's okay. But be careful that you're not moving your deadlines only to accommodate complacency or procrastination. There's a really, really fine line there, guys. So tread carefully. Now, guys, I want to thank you again for spending this time with me, investing this time in your personal and professional growth. I encourage you, start today. Do something. Come back and listen again when you can take some notes. But please, do something. The growth will definitely be worth it. If you feel led, please leave a rating and a review. Your input really does help with the growth of the podcast, as well as the content that I provide. Tune in next week, and we'll take a closer look at unwavering determination, the second characteristic to activating a beast mode mindset. Until next week, guys, this is Tony Cammarata, and remember, stay fast, stay fluid, stay flexible, and be the absolute best that you can be.